Joakim.
Yes.
Shika mic.
Nimeishika. Yes.
Tuambie.
First of all, do I have to introduce myself? Yes. My name is Joakim Simiyu. I come from the incoming ruling party, Safina Party, under the leadership of Jimmy Wanjigi, who is going to be our next head of state. So I am here to just address a few issues, things that have been a problem for a very long time, and I think it's about time we pay attention.
Yeah.
So I just want to draw our attention to Article 220 of our Constitution. The heading of this is Form, Content, and Timing of Budget.
Right.
So it reads, budget of the national and county governments shall contain A, estimates of revenue and expenditure, differentiating between recurrent and development expenditure. Then B, proposals for financing any anticipated deficit for the period which they apply. And C, proposals regarding borrowing and other forms of public liability that will increase public debt during the following year. So these alone, this is the only part of the Constitution that tries to describe our budget.
Yes.
So everything we do in our budget making process shall have to be guided by this principle. And the reason why I'm here today is because what we are doing is contrary to what is stipulated in this text. And it's about, it's good that the Kenyan people know that what has been eating their finances begins from a flawed process of the budget making process. And it's very important. So on this, and the reason why we are saying we have a problem is that this document was tabled in Parliament by the leader of majority, who is called Kimani Ichung'wah. So this is a document from the Treasury. Even as you look at the first page, it talks about estimates of revenue, grants, and loans. So this is a budget that the Parliament will approve. This guides our borrowing. It tells us what our revenues will be, where we will be borrowing, and what will we be borrowing for. When you look at this document, it's of the government of Kenya for the year ending 30th June 2027. So this is a document that will guide us from July, next month, to 30th of June. Next year. So it's for the coming financial year.
Yes.
Tabled by majority of the leader of the majority party. We know who that is. So now, let us go direct to where the problem is.
Yes.
This should stipulate revenue estimates, and in that, we get even where we will be borrowing, so that any borrowing that we'll be doing in the next financial year will have been passed by Parliament in this document. And let us look at page 24 in the table of contents. Because we have been around here telling people that the domestic borrowing estimates are missing in these documents, and people are saying we are peddling falsehoods. So we are here to lay a few facts.
Okay.
So on page 24, our heading is transactions in financial assets and liabilities. On that page, we have 3 items: payments for domestic lending, net domestic borrowing, and external borrowing. So on this table of contents, you will find they have listed net domestic borrowing, and is on page 24. So we want to establish how much are we anticipating
To borrow.
in the next financial year domestically, because 60% of our public debt is domestic.
Yeah.
So we want to know how much have we been borrowing and how much do we anticipate to borrow.
Correct.
So when you get to this page, there is somewhere written domestic loans. It's here. So every item has a code. And that code is not actually the numbers. That code is what will be approved by Parliament.
Yeah.
So that becomes a vote head. So whatever we borrow under that code. So this domestic loans has a code 3314000. Now, first column after these domestic loans, we have actual receipts 2023-2024. That should show us how much we borrowed for the year 2023-2024 domestically. You see the numbers are missing.
What code are we looking at again?
Actual receipt.
3314.
Yes, 3314 under domestic loans.
Sorry, am I on the right?
So this
one.
3314 foreign borrowing.
Yes.
With the exchequer.
The domestic loans.
This has no provision.
3314. I don't have that.
It's there.
You must be having it. This is page 24.
Yes, it is.
What we
Here.
have
Here.
is under code is 331200
Okay.
and 33142003.
Loans.
Yeah, domestic loans.
Yes, seen it.
So are we all there?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, under column 1, it reads actual receipts 2023-2024. So on that column, we should be shown how much did we borrow
Yes.
in the year 2023-2024 domestically.
Yeah.
It's not there. Actual receipts 2024-2025. The numbers are missing. Estimates 2025-2026. They are not there. Revised estimates 2025-2026. They are missing. Estimates of this current financial year, which is 2026-2027. They are also missing.
True.
So any domestic borrowing that have been done this current financial year was not approved by Parliament, because this is the document that the Parliament approves. And if you are not having those numbers, then you have not approved anything. So, and which means we are just about to engage in another illegality of domestic borrowing in the coming financial year. So why is it that my good friend John Bahadi is putting it on the table of contents, but when you go to the actual page, the numbers are missing?
Yeah.
It's because of the basic reason why domestic borrowing has to be done. It's for development. And so when you put it on these estimates, it has to show on the expenditure side, because you have to highlight what will you be borrowing for.
What are you borrowing for?
So they are avoiding putting it here because they are borrowing for expenditure. It's not for
development.
for development. And so it needs a keen eye for you to see. And as Safina, we have taken it upon ourselves to show the people where the illegality is. So that's why I'm telling you that even the budget making itself is flawed. Because there's a document I sent you, I want us to look at, because you have seen the estimates are not there, but people borrowed money in the last financial year. And I want to show you how much they borrowed.
Okay.
Because now, if Parliament has not approved, where does the Treasury get these figures?
Get the numbers from.
Yes. So now, this is a statement from the National Treasury, statement of actual revenues, actual revenues, and net exchequer issues as at 27th February 2026. So this is the current financial year, right? Now, when you look at domestic borrowing, note 1, they have highlighted original estimates to be 1 trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is a statement from the Treasury. They estimated to borrow domestically 1 trillion. But how much did they borrow actually?
807.
870 billion. So we have seen there are no estimates here
Right.
in the actual, in the estimates 2023, 2020, 2026, 2027. This year of 2025, 2026, there are no estimates. So where did they get the numbers of 870 billion? Who approved it? So any banks that is lending to government, they are engaging in illegality. And people are asking us, when you don't pay this debt, what does that mean for our banks? So the consequence is on them. They know that they are lending to government illegally, and this they know. And how do you pay debt? Using our taxes. So why are we paying with our taxes things that have not been approved by Parliament?
Joakim,
Yes.
thank you for raising the issues. And thank you for pointing us to that table. So number one, right,
Yes.
is the budget in that format? Have there been estimates of revenue and expenditure differentiating between recurrent and development expenditure presented before Parliament?
Estimates of revenue.
Expenditure.
Expenditure is presented.
Okay.
Yes.
And expenditure.
Proposals for financing anticipated deficit for the period, which is the loans.
Which is the loans. Now, that's where the problem is.
Okay. For proposals regarding borrowing and other forms of public liability that will increase public debt during the following year, that's actually the loans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's presented, which is this
Or
document.
it's what?
The external part is presented.
The domestic is what you're saying.
The
is not
domestic
presented.
is what we are having a problem with.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to look at the table that you've shown.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that we are not able to project this table for actually
Yeah, for
people to see.
Yeah.
However, Joakim, this table is in columns
Yes.
and rows.
Yes.
Column number 1 is code.
Yes.
Column number 2 is description.
Yes.
Column number 3, actual receipts of 2023-24. Next column, actual receipts of 24-25. And then estimates of 25-26. Revised estimates of 26-27, 27-28, 28-29.
Yes.
Right? Future
Future projections.
projections.
Yes.
So you're looking backwards 3 years and forwards.
Yes.
3 years.
Yes.
Now, what you are pointing us to is if we look at the codes,
Yes.
if we look at the way this document is presented, there are some letters, some words that are in bold and others in ordinary font.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it appears to me like the bold are like subheadings.
True.
Yeah?
Yes.
For example, there's a bold there in the first row, 32000000 acquisition of financial assets.
Yes.
Then 3214000 domestic loans repayments, like that. And then there's an item now there with a code. And you've told us the code is what Parliament approves.
Yes.
Code, the one with the code there, the first one, loans to government agencies and other levels of government.
Yes.
Which, alongside it, on the columns, they actually put a dash, which means that there is an input there, but it's a zero input.
Yes. It's a zero input.
Right?
Yes.
That's why it's a dash, dash, dash. The others that are bold don't have any kind of input on the columns.
Yes.
Which means that that's pointing to me like this is meant to be a
subheading.
heading. And then under it. So I look at 331,4000, the one you told us to look at, domestic
the
loans.
domestic loans.
And then under it, there's a code, 3314203, government overdraft and others. And then 3318000, other accounts payable.
Yes.
Right.
Does
So
it
that's
look like to me
where.
they're under those subheadings
Yeah.
of the domestic loans. Is that?
That's where there's inputs, because there's numbers for the
previous
the
financial
estimates.
years?
Yeah, for the estimates for 2023-24 and 2024-25.
When you look at these estimates that you are pointing to,
Yes.
vis-a-vis the statements that are coming from
What
the
do they
Treasury,
add up to?
do they add up to 870 billion?
We'll do the math.
For the financial year,
For those two, do they add up to the 1 trillion?
for the financial year 25-26.
Yes.
Other accounts payable is a net of 181 billion plus 30,
So
revised 32 billion.
So you said, does it add up to 80?
800 and...
Because the actual receipts in the statements I show you were 870 billion.
The amount of debt.
The estimates,
taken.
yes, the estimates on that statement from Treasury is 1 trillion. So these are the estimates. We should see the exact same numbers here.
Yes.
So if they are not here, and we are seeing those same numbers the other side, then what are we approving? Because those statements from the Treasury should show the numbers that Parliament approved.
They should correspond with this.
Yes. So if we are not saying there is no correspondence, then are we saying then that there is cooking of numbers by the National Treasury?
And like other accounts payable, the estimates for 2026-27 are 82 billion. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the revised estimates for the last financial year, or the one we are currently in, is 32 billion. How much did government take in domestic debt?
Is 870 billion.
Yes, 870 billion. And there's nothing in the input for government overdrafts and others.
And again,
so I see the discrepancy, but there's also what Eric is saying, which is that domestic loans is a subheading of
It's a
sorts. The way
subheading.
the way the document is structured. So, and I'm not sure this is the only place. Is this the only place in this estimate and revenue document that speaks to domestic
yes,
borrowing?
there is no other one. When you look at the table of contents, there is no other place that speaks to domestic borrowing, net domestic borrowing. So this is net domestic borrowing, which means that all domestic borrowing, everything, should be under this document.
Yes.
So we should not have another document that highlights what we are going to borrow in the next financial year.
Yeah.
And 70%, almost 70% of what we owe as a country is domestic, which means we owe it to our own banks, our own pension funds, and insurance companies.
Okay.
So that is where our problem is. So when we say as Safina that we do not, we have a problem with odious debt. This is the origin of how odious debt comes to be. That what we approve in Parliament is not what we borrow. So how do we as sovereigns be obliged to pay? Who are our representatives? Our representatives are members of Parliament. So if they have not approved the borrowing by government, it means that the people have not given consent. And therefore, they have no obligation to pay.
Yeah.
So the illegality of these debts is what we are having a problem with. People are saying that when you default, what will be the consequence? This is not default. Default is where you are legally obliged to pay and you have not. This we are establishing the illegality of the debt. That the manner with which it was borrowed was not as stipulated in our constitution. And again, when you borrowed this money, where did you take it to? Because as the people of Kenya have only one account, the consolidated fund. If it did not come in our account, how do you hold us responsible? And again, what did you do with it? Because whatever we borrow, we must see where it's going. That we borrow to build a church. We are not seeing it.
You don't see it. Joakim, let me
Yes.
ask you, have you ever, and I know, I've had also conversations with your party leader on this particular issue, and he articulates it rather well as well. Do you ever get the feedback that you're splitting hairs?
The people from government.
Yeah, even from public, you're splitting hairs.
The public.
This is why I'm asking that, Joakim.
Yes.
Parliament approves a budget and using certain figures.
Yes.
Okay. And in those figures, there is what we have seen here, estimates for revenue,
Yes.
which will include domestic
Debt.
I mean, not just debt plus grants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. When that is done, then it goes into implementation of the budget.
Yes.
The National Treasury that's implementing the budget produces reports. How often do they produce those reports?
Every month.
Every month
Yes.
they produce reports on the implementation of the budget.
Yes.
These are also counter-checked by the Auditor General,
Yes.
the Controller of Budget rather,
Yes.
who also produces reports to Parliament.
Yes.
Then there's the Auditor General who also audits and produces reports.
Yes.
Right? Now, the National Treasury has produced a report that shows this is how much we have borrowed this much, this month domestically. That report is not hidden. That report is very public. In fact, it's gazetted in the Kenya Gazette. The National Treasury presents a report to Parliament, and that report is tabled in Parliament by the leadership of Parliament through the procedures of Parliament in that.
Yeah.
Why would those two be different? Unless it's a reading that is different. Maybe you're reading bits that is not bits of the whole. Why would the two...
This is a concern that was raised by even Nancy Gathungu, the Auditor General, and she was in Parliament when she said this, that in her auditing, there is a problem of access to the books. So there is no way of her even establishing the real debt of the country. This is something that she has said on the floor of the House. So if the Auditor General is complaining that she is not accessing all the books to establish and form an opinion on how we are borrowing, then what do you, who should tell us the truth? And whenever the Auditor General presents anything, you see how people from government respond to her. When she said that 50 billion of SHA has been lost, they call her a corrupt person. So you can see that there is a systemic repression on how we should know how we are doing in terms of these financial numbers.
And so what's the contention here? That Parliament has not approved domestic borrowing?
Yes.
Or that Parliament approved domestic borrowing, but the National Treasury exceeded that domestic borrowing ceiling? Or that Parliament approved domestic borrowing and the
Of an unknown amount.
of an unknown amount, which basically was a blank check for the National Treasury to go and fill.
I do not. The issue here collectively is that what we borrowed versus what was our approved in Parliament.
That there's a discrepancy.
There is a very big discrepancy.
I'm curious, how far back are we taking this? Because we've only looked at the previous year.
You can begin from 2014, 2015.
2014, 15 cumulatively year on year.
Cumulatively till today.
So we are adding this financial year that we're bringing
Yes,
close to the total
yes.
of the Odious debt.
Yes.
So what is the roundup figure that, we are putting as, because if we had a counter, and I wish we had a live counter
Yes.
for Odious debt and how much we are saying or you are saying government has illegally borrowed.
What we are being told, I just told you that nearly 70% of what we borrowed domestically, of our total debt volume, which is 13 trillion as we speak, 70% of it is domestic.
Domestic.
Which means that for these years that we are talking about, it is an illegal debt. And when you look at the numbers there that have been published in debt payments, and the level of our debt is that however much we pay, the debt never comes down. Like before this year ends, before 30th of June, the government needs to raise some good money to pay the maturing loans.
Correct.
Around 800 billion. But despite all that, because in President Uhuru's time, totally he told us he paid 5.6. William Ruto so far, he has told us he has paid 4.6. This is 10.2 trillion. But the debt is still 13. So which means in 10 years, we have had more than 20 trillion in terms of borrowing. So today, as we speak, William Ruto is borrowing 1.1 trillion averagely every financial year.
Is he paying interest or principal?
So even if you are paying interest, Kwani, how much is interest? Is it half or more than half of what we are borrowing? Because if we've paid 10.2 trillion, but we still owe 13, Kwani, how much is interest?
Maybe we're just servicing the interest and not the...
And so, Kwani is interest in aqua service for how long? What are the agreements? Because, and two, people are talking about the finance bill. First of all, what is the necessity of a finance bill? Finance bill should come after people have approved their spending. That we have approved, we are going to spend 4.8 trillion, like this financial year that we are going into.
Yeah.
We know how much we are going to raise in terms of revenue, which let's say, for example, we could raise 2.6 trillion, but we have a spending estimate of 4.8. So how do we cover the shortfall?
Yeah.
Then that's when the finance bill comes up and proposes that we should, in terms of taxes, let us go back to the people and get some more money. So in this finance bill that we are talking about, we are going to raise an extra 220 billion. So if we should come up with a finance bill after approval of our budget, how comes that we always have finance bills before approval? What are we raising money for? Because whatever we raise money for should be stipulated in our approval of our spending. So this 220 billion that we are going to raise in this finance bill, what is it for? And again, in the last financial year, we raised 2.57 trillion. What have we done with it before they come to us and ask for more?
That's fair, and I think that's an angle I'd like to take. On what we were looking at earlier, because it's been bothering me. So I had to just look up exactly what these line items are under domestic loans, because I think that's the interpretation, and of course open to correction. But these figures under domestic loans, what Joakim was referring to, where we have no figures for the estimates for 2025, 2026, and going forward, there's government overdrafts and others, and other accounts payable. Those are the two line items there. And that's where, under government overdraft and others, that's where there's no data as far as the estimates are concerned. And he was also talking about the discrepancy between these numbers and then what we ended up, the numbers of 2025, 26, and numbers gazetted, and what we ended up borrowing. But just from a quick look up, government overdrafts and others don't speak to domestic borrowing in the way that we're thinking about it, which is treasury bills and bonds, which is how we borrow internally. It's essentially just an overdraft from the CBK, which could be explaining the discrepancy in the numbers you're talking about. So then the numbers we're looking at here, when you say government overdraft and others, are strictly government borrowing from the central bank. Not from bonds and bills.
So when we talk about bonds and bills, shouldn't that be here as an estimated figure?
So I would hope so as well. That part, I think now I would require some finance more
information. Above that, there's another subtopic that talks about equities and non-equities.
Equities and non-equities.
Still in the same block.
We are talking about securities other than shares.
Yes, securities other than shares. And this is securities, other than shares.
So these securities...
Domestic debt securities. That's the subtopic, domestic debt securities. And the receiver of that revenue is the PS in the National Treasury. So under that, then we have securities other than shares, which is in the billions in the previous financial years. In the 25-26 revised estimates, it's 961.6 billion. In the estimates for the next financial year, it's 1.06 trillion. And goes on into the next other 2 financial years. What's that, Joakim?
I have. So what we should get as a response from Treasury is how much do we anticipate to borrow in the next financial year domestically? Because when we borrow domestically, where do we borrow from? We borrow from our own
Kenyans.
Yes.
Kenyans have their money saved in their banks.
Yeah.
So when you borrow money from the banks, you're
And
borrowing their
pension
savings.
schemes and yeah.
So how do they pay the loans? Using their own taxes.
Correct.
So you've come and borrowed our savings, and we pay for it using our own taxes. So we should know what you are borrowing for.
Correct.
At least tell us we bought one thermos flask. But the reason why they are not highlighting it, I told you why they are not highlighting it, is because they are borrowing for recurrent expenditure.
And not exactly for development.
Yes.
Which is,
Because all debt portfolio, we should see it in our economy in terms of development projects. Because if those figures are really there, then we have to check on the expenditure. Are they showing on the expenditure side? Because if the estimate is 900 billion, and our development budget in this whole figure of 4.8 trillion is 700 billion. So why are we having a very small percentage of our budget going to development, and our estimated borrowing is already 900 billion, as you put it? So why are we borrowing?
You're asking very critical questions which are important, and the thing that I'm hearing is there's just a general lack of transparency that yes, money has been borrowed. Take how visible is the allocation is what we need, and that's what we need to agitate for, and then interrogate that before we actually say, okay, the money has been misappropriated, or the money has, been put for whatever intention, whether it's development or recurrent expenditure. Transparency is what is lacking.
Yes. So with that lack of transparency, what's the consequence? The consequence is that right now, how much percent of our revenue is paying debt?
60%.
More than 60.
More than 60.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 90. So if you are given 100 shillings and 10 has to constantly go to pay debt, and you are left with the 10 to carry out your operations around, how do you survive?
So then, is your Shika Mike that our budget process is fundamentally flawed?
Yes, it is.
Or
or it lacks transparency.
It lacks transparency. Because is the process the issue? Or
Now,
is how we're doing it the issue?
If transparency is not a flaw, then why do we call it flaw?
The Supreme Court, in the presidential petition of 2017, ordered a rerun of that election because of lack of transparency. And they said that there are some areas that were not transparent, and therefore it was flawed.
So then, it's
the lack of transparency.
The budget.
Is our electoral process flawed?
Or was that particular,
or was this
particular management of that system flawed?
Flawed. That becomes a question.
Now I'm looking at this budget. What is a budget? A budget highlights your needs and your income. So you have to balance between your needs and your income. Is that if we are going to spend 4.8 trillion, that's our need. Then our income is how much? They should all balance. So if there is no balance, already there's something wrong. Because these are numbers, and the numbers don't lie.
It doesn't mean there's something wrong. It's actually, sometimes it's expected. It's very good if you can have a balanced budget where all your needs are met by your incomes. But it's also acceptable where you can have needs that outnumber
your income.
And the point is you then stipulate how you bridge that gap.
Yes.
It's called a deficit, and how you fill the deficit.
The deficit.
So you may say that I need A, B, C, D, and my income is this, but then I'm going to borrow a grant.
In this case, even a grant.
And expensive money from so and so.
In this case, when I say income, even a grant is going to be labeled as income. Because as revenue, even borrowed money is revenue. A grant is revenue.
All right.
Plus tax.
All right.
So cumulatively, that forms your income. So we should have a projection of our taxes. How much are we going to raise?
Yeah.
Alafu, how much are we going to borrow from where? Externally this much, internally this much.
Yes.
So that at the end of the day, we have a balanced budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the question I even ask about the finance bill. Yes, this year that is going to end, we've raised more than 2.5 trillion. What have we done with it? How comes that even as we raise 2.5 trillion, building a road that is 170 kilometers, we have to go and take money from the NSSF. And yet we are borrowing to an estimate of 1.1 trillion every year. Why are we borrowing?
So then, Joakim,
The flow here,
so this is
the flow here
Yeah.
is transparency and accountability.
yeah. It's not the process.
It's not the budgeting process
It is not the
itself.
budgeting
It's not the,
process.
it's not the
itself.
structure of the process.
Yeah, it is how we're doing it. And you do raise good questions
Yeah.
about how much we're borrowing, why we seem to work off of estimates that don't have like proper backing.
Yeah.
Those are those are good questions. But is it that our budget making process has a flaw? If we respected it and we followed the letter of the law, or is it that the way we're doing it right now has a flaw?
The reason why Safina Pat is saying, for us, first of all, to establish what really happened, we stop all debt payment, pending an audit. And that audit is what will establish what is legal and what is not. So what is legal to us, there's no reason not to pay. But what was obtained illegally out of our own laws, now that is not on us. As to who is its on is not our business. And in our projection that when we stop paying debt, we shall have saved to a tune of 2 trillion shillings to provide the services that the government has defaulted on its own.
But the
But that's
counter
default.
to that would be, I mean, there's defaulting and also these penalties. I mean, these agreements that are signed, and whether or not you want to go do a debt audit, there's still consequences of stopping to pay these
Agreements
debts.
that were not approved by Parliament.
It's okay. It's again, two truths could exist at the same time. You have a very valid argument, but what would be the cost to the taxpayer if we say halt on all debt payments?
Yeah.
What happens to all the fines and the repercussions of not honoring our payments?
Because if you find that the debt isn't odious, that it was taken legitimately, and now you have defaulted on payment, whether it's of the principal or the interest, that comes at an even larger cost.
We are very sure, and the reason why even the government rarely responds to our questions is it knows it will open a very big Pandora's box, which they have to actually substantiate. And the numbers we are giving you are accurate numbers, and we know that when we do this, look at how government responds. Whenever you bring up an issue of auditing this debt, they bring up a very scary image of things that might happen, so that you rethink your thoughts, that we might end up being auctioned. No, we are establishing the legality, and an audit is not an illegal thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we say we are going to establish do an audit, that's not a bad thing. And the government actually recognizes that is a problem. Because even if, when you look at the 10-point agenda, we had audit of public debt. The current CS for Treasury, John Badi, before he joined the Treasury, what was he shouting about? He was saying we have to see the debt register. Who do we owe? How much did we take?
Yeah.
What did we do for it?
Yes.
So those are the questions that keep on challenging.
Is it possible to audit the debt while still
Paying.
keep paying? While still paying.
So what is our problem that is eating us? Why is it that the president lies all the time? Is it because he was born a liar? No. It's because what he promised, he can't do it. Why can't he do it? Because he has no money to do it. Why doesn't he have money to do it? Because all the money he gets is paying debt. So we are saying that any person who is going to assume office and continues with this tradition of paying this contested debt, then there is no reprieve for the Kenyan people. There is completely no reprieve.
The solution is to find out what is this problem.
The solution is look at the debt. It's eating more than, it's the biggest expenditure item on our budget.
I co-sign what Mariam is asking. And I can say, when you presented that we first of all are going to halt all payment of debt pending audits, then it raises those other issues. The ones that you find to have been, properly procured and have therefore attracted interest because of delayed payments, who's going to pay that interest?
Consequences.
And is it an interest that we're willing to pay as a country? Or the other alternative is we are going to conduct an audit within 3 months. The ones that will have paid by the end of those 3 months and they're fine, they'll be fine. The ones that will have paid by the end of those 3 months and they are not properly procured, will begin the process of recovering all monies paid to whatever entity. Which either way, basically is, we don't have to say we will stop as we audit. Because that's what now opens the door for the other guys to come and say, stop. If you stop, my friend, just say we will audit.
Right. And to add on to, just one thing. The odiousness of our debt, unfortunately, is not in how it was taken or that it was taken. It's in what it was used for and where it went. Now, from a legal perspective, unfortunately, when someone has given you a loan, they've given you a loan. Whether or not you use it for what you were meant to do, that's neither here nor there.
There are questions on how.
Yes?
There are questions on how.
As a lender,
the questions on how come from if Parliament had not expressly approved this debt, then is that a legal debt?
That is a fair question.
No,
However,
that means now what binds a common person to this debt? Is it a seal of the Attorney General or approval by Parliament? It's approval. Who is your representative?
Parliament.
It's Parliament. So what does it mean if he doesn't approve it? Is that you didn't give consent.
Correct.
So something you didn't agree to borrowing. Can you be held liable if the finance person of this entity goes and takes a loan saying that it is on behalf of nation media, but that money was deposited in some account that does not belong to this, and the people who should approve and give consent that actually we are a nation and we need it did not. So it has come a time to pay.
okay.
Who do we follow
That
up
part.
with?
So I have backtracked on that. Fair. The how is also an important question. But okay, now respond to Eric. So, nimeache.
Eric asked about what?
No, it's about the process. I mean, must we say we shall stop paying?
So the argument we want, and that's where we are inviting everyone, is that what do you think is the best solution? Because we are saying payment of odious debt is our biggest problem. What do you think is our problem? Come and explain to us. We see how it works.
Okay.
Because we want a winner to be a win for Kenyans, not for the people vying. What will give you reprieve? When you come and campaign on a promise of free education, it's a good promise. But where are you going to get the money to fund this education if what you are getting is paying debt?
Yeah.
We are talking, I found you talk about maternal health. Why are we even talking about maternal health? Because generally our health system is a problem. So when we say we want to bring access to health care by every Kenyan, then how much does it cost? Where do we get it from? There are good promises on our manifesto, but how are you going to achieve it?
You can't fund them if you don't have money.
Yes.
Joakim, asante for coming. Let me just read a couple of comments that have come in throughout our conversation. Kikombe says, so the budget does not expressly limit domestic borrowing. Yani MPs have issued a blank check to the executive. Achafue tunayo meza. Raia watalipa. Donge. Continues, it's not about splitting hairs. These small holes give birth to giant billions that we taxpayers will have to bear. Parliament should state what the maximum overdraft is. ndio tukue rada kabisa. Nelson Mandela, if the budget is meant to reflect the needs of citizens, why do many Kenyans only feel its impact through new taxes and the rising cost after it has already been passed? He continues, every budget discussion seems to focus on what the government did wrong. Beyond criticizing, borrowing and spending, what practical alternatives are experts proposing to grow revenue without overtaxing? Harley Kai says, is a flawless budget process actually possible in Kenya right now? Or is it just an easy talking point for the opposition?
Can I respond to...
Ngoja niseme here, Steve Okechu says, I listened to Nende Nyoro yesterday. The Bible urges men to build generational wealth. The president is building generational debt.
Actually, debt is tax in advance. So what we borrowed in 2019, we are paying today using the taxes we are giving today.
Yeah.
So it's actually generational debt. So as to a question of what practical alternatives are we proposing? As Safina, we've come up with a 5-pillar agenda called the Feast Agenda. And on it, as we finish very fast, is that, first of all, no payment of odious debts. And limit government from domestic borrowing. Because it has a crowding out effect and people are not going to
Access
credit.
and it limits even revenue collection. So those are some of the practical steps we are taking.
Okay, let's end it there. Thank you so much, Joakim, Simiyu, SG Safina Party. We've been talking matters odious debt and the budgeting process and the flaws within. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 to 10 a.m. for another amazing conversation. Keshoni Friday. But for now, we leave you in the capable hands of Winnie Lubembe on Your World. And on Nation FM, we have Claudia Naisabwa and Brian Aseli. From myself, Mariam Bishar, Eric Latif, and Felaris Wamboy, have an amazing, amazing Thursday.